Thank you, everyone. Welcome to Impact. It's been some time. It's a new year now. We are bringing wonderful things. We've got a wonderful guest with us in our studio today, and his name is Mr. Mathye. And I'm your host, Paul Machevele. Welcome. Feel free to communicate with us. You can leave a comment. You can also subscribe. You can do anything. You can reach out to us via our email or any other manner that you feel you want to talk to us. If you've got anything to say, please feel free. And we are still growing. We need your advices and everything that you can help us. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome, Elder Mathye.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yes. Yeah. What an opportunity. It's been the beginning of the year now.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this.
Yes.
I feel honored to be part of this.
Okay. All right. No, we are very grateful. We are also very grateful to have you in our studio. And we hope that we are going to discuss that which will help us.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to the conversations.
Yeah. No, man. I wanted you to maybe as we begin, you tell us who you are and maybe also where you come from.
Okay. I'm Kenneth Thomas Mathye. I was born at a village called Tiani, popularly known as Magoro. And I lived there to the age of 12. Then I moved to another village called Mbokota, not far from Elim, those who know Elim Hospital. And that's where I stayed until I passed my grade 12 or standard 10 by then. And then I moved to Johannesburg, where I went to college. And yeah, I had to drop from college, and fortunately, at that very moment, ESCOM came to my rescue.
Okay. No, this is wonderful. Oh, so where did you basically grow up? You grew up in Magoro.
Up to the age of 12. My parents divorced when I was 9.
Okay.
So I remained behind when my mother left with my 2 siblings. And yeah, for the period of 3 years, I did not know where my father was.
Oh, for a period of 3 years. Also, when they divorced, who left? It was your father who left.
When they divorced, my father was working in Springs.
Okay.
In Gauteng. Today we call it Gauteng. So when they divorced, my father went back where he was working, and my mother then moved to Mbokota where her mother was. So I remained with my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, and because she was staying with my father, and now there was no one with my mother out of the picture, then my grandmother moved to her elder son. So she had to move with me because I was the only one remaining with her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And how many siblings were you at home?
I've got a younger sister and a younger brother, so we are 3.
Oh, you are 3.
Yeah, we were 4, but one passed away at a very young age. So we remained 3 of us.
Okay. No, that's interesting. So then you grew up at your, so it was at your grandmother, but with at your father's side. Interesting.
Yes, I remained with my grandmother on my father's side.
And then when
3 years.
Okay.
And then after that, I moved to where my mother was, and then my grandmother on my mother's side.
Okay.
Basically, I was brought up by grandmother.
Yes, so you are a product of grannies.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you went to school where at Magororo until you finished your grade 12, or I don't know if it was grade 12 then or what.
Just standard 10.
Okay.
You might have seen my poster on Facebook that next year I'll be celebrating my 50th birthday.
Okay.
And I'll be visiting 3 different schools.
Okay.
So those are the 3 schools that I studied. Started at Magoro.
Okay.
Up to standard 4, which is grade 6 now.
Okay.
Then I moved to Mbogotha, where I did my standard 5, which is grade 7.
Okay.
So that was the second primary school.
Okay.
Then I moved to high school.
Okay.
At Mbogotha as well.
Okay.
And I did all my high schooling at the same school.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I went through 3 different schools.
Oh, and then this is an interesting structure of a family, because you had your father and mother, then you had your grandmothers on both sides. So I wanted to understand, like, the religious aspect of the home. How was it like?
My grandmother, on my father's side,
Okay.
my grandmother was a Sangoma. My father was a Sangoma. So basically, that's the environment where I grew up to the age of 12. And of interest is that I was given my father's name, my grandfather's name. I don't know him. Okay, on both sides, I don't know the man. I only saw the grandmothers.
Grandmothers, okay.
My grandfathers on both sides, I never saw them. So I was given my father's name, Charlie. And as a result of that,
What?
Charlie.
Okay. Okay.
So my father never called me by name in my presence. He will call me by name when it's with other people, but in my presence, he will call me Papa. And so I also had the privilege to be the only child who was allowed in his workshop or his office.
Okay.
I don't know what we call it in English, but
Yeah.
in our language, Ilendumbe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's his office.
Yeah, that's his office.
Yeah.
So I was the only child who had access to that office. I'll sit there with him when he's doing his things.
Okay.
So that is the background. And of course, when they do their things, my grandfather, I'm told, was bishop. I don't know what we call this church in English, but it's on a group.
Oh, the one that you dance.
Yeah, the one that go in cycles.
Okay, it's an apostolic church, I think.
The apostolic church.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm told my grandfather was a bishop in that church.
Okay.
So as a result, when I was given the name, my father, as much as he was a Sangoma, in respecting his father, he bought me that gown and the Bible. Immediately after I was given the name, my father went to buy me those things.
Wow.
So even when they were doing their appeasing of ancestors, when I was the only child who was excluded from the whole ceremony. And my father would say, look, leave my father alone. He's a bishop, so he doesn't do these things. But out of curiosity, because I was a child,
Yes.
I will join them. I mean, I could not understand why I was isolated. I will join them. But everybody else in the home will be forced to be part of that, except myself.
Wow.
Because I'm the bishop.
Wow.
So
because your grandfather was a bishop,
my grandfather.
then you took his name.
Yes.
So automatically you became your father's father.
I became my father's father. That's how my father addressed me in my presence.
Wow.
He will only call me by name when he's with other people and I'm not there. But when I'm around him, he will not use my name. Call me Papa.
Wow. Wow. That was a very interesting childhood.
Very, very interesting.
Yes.
Yet short-lived.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. So, but then, your father? How did he get to be a sangoma? Because in order to be a sangoma, your father should be a sangoma, right? Or it's a.
No, not necessarily. Remember, my grandmother was a sangoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess he got it from that lineage of his maternal side.
Oh. Okay.
Uh,
Wow. Very interesting.
yeah.
And then and then how then how did you meet the faith you have right now? How did that, because this was an interesting family dynamic. I mean, to say it means you decided it was a sangoma, and then you had a sangoma at home, and you understood that religion also well, isn't it? In my understanding.
Yeah, I understood that. How did I come to my current faith? It's a quite a long story, but allow me to take it from when I moved from my home to join my mom. I found that my mother was already working as a domestic worker. So she was only at home once in a month, one weekend in a month, month end, she'll come. And my uncle, the last born from my mother's side, is one person who believe in Rastafarianism. So I grew up with people who believe in that religion, Rastafarian religion. Now,
Wait.
yes,
So there was Rastafarianism,
yes,
and then your grandfather was apostolic
on my father's side.
on your father's
Yes,
side.
yes,
Then you had your father was a sangoma.
yes.
Wow! Wow! What a
I'm a mixed salad.
wow! Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
So
and basically, all these people, they raise you, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah. So
all of them had a hand in how I was brought up. Yeah. So my uncle and his uncles, two of them were also into the same thing, and their friends. So normally they will talk, not talk. They will have debates with Christians about the Sabbath, and I'll be sitting there as an observer, and I'll listen to this debate. I love it. I actually love debate. I start them. So I enjoy debate. I enjoy conversation. So when they were having this debate, I'll sit there, listen attentively, and the Rastafarians will back up their belief on the Sabbath from the Bible,
okay.
and the Christians will not do that. So, mind you, I'm the observer.
Okay.
And I'm looking at these Rastafarians. They are reading texts from the Bible.
Okay.
At that age, I had never read the Bible myself.
Okay.
They are reading texts from the Bible, and they are arguing with the Christians that, look, you guys, what you are doing is not right, because the Bible teaches this and that and that.
Wow.
But then I had a question. Okay. My issue with the Rastafarians, everything else, their diet, everything else, I was comfortable.
Okay.
Except that now they called the Dacha the tree of life.
Oh.
So I had an issue with that.
Okay.
And I said, if these guys are true, and I have got no doubt they are true,
Yes.
in terms of the Sabbath, not the tree of life.
Yes.
But why is there no church that worship on Saturday, as they claim that Saturday is the Sabbath?
Yes.
And from what they have read, which I have not read as yet, I've got nothing to dispute what they are saying. And to me, the argument of the Christians were weak, because they could not back it up with the very same Bible that they believe is the source and the foundation of their beliefs.
Okay. So what is the so Rastafarians believe in the Sabbath?
Yes. And the Sabbath, they quote it from the Bible.
They quote it from the Bible.
Yes.
So they worship on the Sabbath.
They worship on the Sabbath, if you can put it that way.
Yeah.
They observe the Sabbath.
They observe the Sabbath.
They observe the diet of the Bible. I'm talking about those who are into Rastafarianism.
Like the real.
Yeah. Because you know there are those who are Rastas, but all they want is to smoke the stuff.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And anything else they don't care about. So that's their belief that the Sabbath, according to the Bible, is from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset.
Wow.
So that then brought that question in my mind, that if these guys are true, and I've got no doubt that what they are saying is true, but then why is there no church that worships on this day? So I had that question.
What do you mean, why there's no church? Don't they go to church on?
No, Rastafarians, they don't go to church.
What?
They just have their own way of doing things, but they will not go and then congregate in a certain place.
No.
Not in an environment where I grew. But they will have sessions. Sometimes they will go and pray at certain places, but it's not not a routine that every Sabbath they will go to a certain place for worship. No.
How? So why is it a religion?
I don't know. But yeah, that's the environment. So their argument and their belief brought that question to me.
Okay.
Why is there no church that worship on this day these guys called the Sabbath? So that got stuck. Then fast forward, I found myself living in Springs when I started working for ESCOM.
Was it still with your uncle, or?
I'm now on my own.
Okay.
I'm now on my own. But yeah, my uncle and what they introduced me to was still with me, because when I bought my first music system, the first CD I bought was Peter Tosh.
Okay, by the way, this is
the music was in me.
Yeah,
and
that music can capture you, ne?
Yeah, that music has got staying power.
Yeah.
You know, the songs they were playing, you find that there were songs dating back to 1975, 76, 78, but they were still relevant at that time. So when I bought my first music system, I could only afford the system and one CD because I was buying cash.
Okay.
So it had to be Peter Tosh.
Yeah.
There's a song by Peter Tosh, Equal Rights.
Yes.
Where I found that song to be very, very, very pertinent and very interesting, where he says, everybody is crying about crime, but who is the criminal? And in my mind, I'll say, but yeah, there's no village, there's no suburb, or there's no township where they say criminals live there. So these people we are crying about, we live with them.
Yes.
Yeah, they are with us.
Yeah.
So I'll play my Peter Tosh and Gregory Isaacs. Those were my two favorites. Then came your Burning Spears.
Okay.
And actually, when Burning Spear came to South Africa in 2000, I went there.
Wow.
But I regretted it. The dome in Randburg.
Okay.
That place was filled with smoke. The stuff was smoked in plain. So that place was filled with. The music was good, but the smoke, because I was not smoking.
Okay.
I never smoked. So, but remove the smoke, the smoking and the dacha, I can go to Rastafarianism anytime. Actually, I nearly became a Rasta.
Yeah,
but the smoke. That was my issue. I had an issue with the the herb, as they call it.
Yeah, the tree of life.
Yeah, the tree of life.
Oh,
You know, with them, they don't call it death. They call it a herb.
So how do they teach each other actually? Because if there is no formal place, because from my understanding, is that this thing is more, it's a strict religion, man. If I may call it that, because you've got people who adhere to it, like the Sabbath, they really don't work on the Sabbath, from my understanding. So, like, who teaches who, where?
In the environment where I grew up, you'll find that this was not sort of a family religion. It will be only the man who is doing this.
Oh,
And the wife and the kids will be doing their own things.
okay.
In certain setups, you'll find that the wife and kids even go to a Christian church.
Okay.
But it's only the man who believes in this.
Oh.
Yeah. So as for the teachings, they will do this amongst themselves, but not with the family, the kids, and everybody.
Okay.
So that is where the environment were. I don't know in other settings how things are done, but that's what I was exposed to.
Yeah, that's
so. Back to your question, I'm in Springs, staying in a flat, and then 2000 and okay, let me just take you the background, because I want to bring God to this thing, even though I was not a Christian then.
Yes.
But when I looked back, I could only see the hand of God in the whole thing. The year it was 2001, my then supervisor booked me for a program. It was called Advanced Development Program.
Okay.
Commonly called ADP.
Okay.
So he booked me for that, and he sent the message on an email to my team leader. We were remote. The supervisor is in Rocheville, we are in Springs. And the only person who has got access to a computer is my team leader.
Okay.
So he received the message and he kept it to himself. So by the time he notifies me, one session of the program has gone past. Fine. I contact the program coordinator. He said, you can attend the next session. So every month there was a session, a week or 3 days, but every month. So I missed the January one. I go to the February.
Okay.
Fine. And he said to me, if we can get 8 more people, then we'll organize or arrange the first session you missed in January. Fine. Come March, I've made arrangements because we were using one buggy and a truck. So I made arrangements that I'm going to use the buggy. Then my team leader books the buggy for service on the Monday I'm supposed to go for the train. So when I get there, I don't have transport. So I missed the March session as well. And then I decided, okay, let me let this thing go. So I called the coordinator. I said, look, I've missed the second session or the third session. Second for me because I started with the. So if it's possible, can you put me on the list of the people who are going to do this program in 2002? And come January, please start communicating direct with me, not through anyone else. And he agreed. So 2002, I'm on the program. Fast forward, we are in June. I'm attending presentation skills. And it was done by a gentleman called Michael Kokwan.
Michael Kokwan.
Yeah. Those we are friends on Facebook, you might have seen I've dropped that name many a time.
Yeah, I think I've also. Doesn't he write books?
Yeah, he also writes.
I think I read a book by him. Actually, you are the one who gave me the book.
I gave you the book on your wedding day.
Yes. Yes. Oh.
So that's the gentleman who was presenting. So on the first day when we do the introductions and he took note that I said I'm from Springs and he was coming from around Springs. So during the break, the tea break, he come, we have a conversation, and then that's it. Then something strange happens. His behavior was strange to me. It was normal to him. He says to me, it was a 3-day training.
Okay.
So he said, on day 2, he's going to pick me up and we'll drive together. And what makes me say this is strange? Let me give you an example. We are here. We are going to Tsani.
Okay.
Okay. Michael Kokwane is at Kiani.
Okay.
I'm at Malamle.
Wow.
We are going to Tsani.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like, yeah.
So the obvious thing is that I should pick him up because
Yes.
it's on the way.
Yes.
That's one.
Yes.
2, I'm using a company vehicle, so I'm not paying for anything.
Okay.
He's using his own vehicle.
Wow.
And then he drives from Giyani
Come
to Malamulele,
come pick
and
you
then
up.
drive
Back
past Giyani again to
to
Tsanin.
Tsanin. Yeah, I
To
know.
me,
Yeah.
it was out of...
No, it's very strange.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
So he does that for 2 days.
Hmm.
And I think it was on the last day, he said to me, Kenny, I know you're an electrician, but I see you doing something different in future. And then he left it at that. He left it hanging. Okay. But one thing that he did, part of the people who were part of the facilitators for the program was the late Dr. John Dibani.
Okay.
The likes of Hector Mudau, and on Facebook he's Hector the Motivator. Those were some of the facilitators. But Michael Kokwana and Dr. John Dibani did something that the others did not do. Their sessions, they will come with books. So they will give us books. So I started reading, and I started enjoying reading. Now, back in Springs, I went to the library, I started reading, and I realized I enjoy. I'm one person who, when I was at school, I would not read a book. I found reading to be something else. But when I started reading these books, which I was introduced to, I started loving them. So one Friday afternoon, we used not to work on Fridays, paydays. So I'm working in Springs in town. Then I hear a voice I could recognize. Kenny! He called me Kenny. So when I turned, there he was. He's a big man. He's a giant. So I ran to him, greet him. He embraces me. Then we have a little chat. And he invite me to his church. I used to visit church. So when people invite me, I'll visit. And so when the invitation came, I said, okay, I'll come. Then he said, but we worship Saturday, meaning the following day.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, at that moment, it was like a spark.
Yeah. Like a whole bulb.
Is this the answer to the question? The question I had when my uncles were talking about the Sabbath. Now here is someone who's telling me his church worships on Sabbath.
On Sabbath. Wow.
So, could this be the church? And I said, no, it's fine, even if it's on Saturday. Anyway, I had nothing to do.
Wow.
So he said we start at 9.
So it was not very strange to you.
No, the idea of the Sabbath was not strange. Remember, I had that question in my mind.
The whole time.
This whole thing. I've got people who are talking about this thing. They are proving it from the Bible. But why is there no church? So when I get an invitation to a church that worships on the day, then the question is, could this be the church?
Wow. So you were fascinated about the Sabbath?
Yes.
From the Rastafarians?
From the Rastafarians.
But the only problem you had with them was this tree of life.
The tree of life. The tree of life. Their whole lifestyle I was okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, even the dreadlocks, I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, because it's simple to have dreadlocks. Not these things we see these days. The real red dreadlocks, the natural one. You just wash your hair and push it back. So Saturdays, Sundays, I'll just push my hair back, and the drug will start forming. But then come Monday, I have to go to school. I had to come Friday, I'll. So yeah.
What do you mean? You mean the dreadlocks don't?
Dreadlocks are easy. You don't need chemicals, and you just wash your hair and push it back. And then the locks will form by themselves. So I'll do that.
Wow, it's my first time to hear that.
Yeah.
For me, dreadlocks, you must go to the salon.
Nah, the salon thing, it's now a fashion. Real dreadlocks, you just push your hair back and it locks themselves by itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
So I'm invited. Like I said, whoever will invite me to church, I will go. I'll visit. So I go. Saturday, he told me 9:00 we start. So 9:15, I was walking because the church was in Springs. Actually, it's still there. Agape Seventh Day Adventist.
Okay.
Church, yeah. So 9:00, I walk into the church. 9:15, actually, because they started at 9.
Okay.
I'm crazy when
Yeah,
time.
I know you can. I know you cannot move you there.
So 9:15, I'm walking into the church, and it's empty. There's no one there.
Mm.
And as I'm still struggling, do I walk out or I sit when there's no one? Then a lady came from the other side, and she greeted me with a beautiful smile.
Okay.
Now, the manner in which she greeted me, I assumed it's Mr. Kokwane's wife. So she should have been briefed, or there's this young man who will visit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made that assumption. This
Okay.
could be his. I mean, the way she welcomed me, it was like she already knows me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
she welcomed me, said, "No, you can sit. People will be coming in." And indeed, people started coming in. It was only during lunch I realized that she was not his wife. Because he invited me for lunch.
Okay.
And then that's when I met his wife and kids.
Okay. Okay.
But that smile back in June 2002, I can't forget it even to this day.
Wow.
And maybe this is something we can learn as Christians.
Yes.
You know, just to have that welcoming attitude when people come visit our churches.
Aye.
So there we are. We had lunch, and there's something funny that happened. I did not know Petty. So
Okay, that petty thing. That
yeah, that Petty thing that you Seventh Day Adventist love.
Okay.
So, but I thanked God that the food was on the table, so you had to serve yourself.
Okay.
So when I got to the patties, in my mind it was first cook.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I skipped it.
Okay.
And I think these people are strange. How can you have rice and we? Yeah. In one plate. So I skipped the patties. And so I skipped the patties, and then we had the lunch, and then we went back to church. But now I became a permanent visitor, and then I became a member. The Sabbath school lesson study captured my mind.
That very day.
Yeah, that very day. You see, remember now I found this church, which is strange. Churches go to church on Sunday. This one goes to church on Saturday.
Okay.
But this is the church I've been looking for because of my uncles.
Okay.
But I found it.
Okay.
And so not only are they strange, they worship on Saturday.
Okay.
But the Sabbath school lesson, people ask questions and they are responded to. They are directed to Bible verses. And I was sitting there. What's going on here?
Wow.
Because for me, church is we go, we sing, we dance, the pastor preaches, and then we go home. That's church. And then here we are sitting, and I don't even remember who was the preacher that day, what was the sermon. The whole day, my mind was still stuck on the Sabbath school lesson.
Wow.
The discussions, it was very strange, but it was happening. And I came back the next Saturday, and then, as they say, the rest is history. I'm now a member of that church. But that's how I became a member of the Seventh Day Adventist Church. Nobody preached to me anything. The foundation was laid by my Rastafarian uncles. Then I got an invitation, then the Sabbath school just grabbed me. And then there.
Wow.
And if I can share maybe another thing, this church is strange, but I loved it. One pastor visited,
Yeah.
and when he was preaching, he mentioned something. I think it was the issue that Jesus had brothers and sisters.
Okay.
So immediately, as our custom, we after the service we greet each other, we shake hands, and so during that period, the elders went to the pastor. Said, Fundis, you have said something on the pulpit. Please come back in the afternoon to answer for it. And I was standing there. And I said, this guy don't respect the pastor. How do you tell the pastor to come back and answer for what he said on the pulpit? Well, I'm coming from that environment where the pastor preaches and then that's it. But here the pastor was being asked to come back. And he came back. And they said, wow. And then the discussions in the afternoon, the questions were answered, the elders were happy, and everybody was happy. Yeah, I think this is going to be home. And yeah, it was not long after that.
What do you mean? You just felt at home.
I think, you see, this is where I said I need to go back to 2001. In 2001, when I was in that program, Mr. Kokwan was not part of the facilitators. Had I done the program in 2001, I was not going to meet this gentleman. I remember I said I was angry with my my team leader, the way he handled the whole thing. Remember, initially he kept the email away from me and only brought it to me after the first session passed. Secondly, by the third session, he knows I'm going to use this bike. He booked it for service on the same day. So I was angry with him. But when later I learned that Mr. Kokwana was not part of the facilitators in 2001, then I forgave that man. My team leader said, no, God's hand was in this thing. He happened to be used, but then I did not like it. But then when I realized that God was preparing me to meet this gentleman, and maybe if you allow me at this juncture to say, meeting Michael Kokwan turned my life around, changed my life, literally so. Not only did he introduce me to Christianity, not only did he introduce me to books, reading, as I've said, he introduced me to reading. When now I became a permanent visitor in the church, he took me like his young brother. He became a mentor and a coach to me. And I will be forever indebted to him. I will be forever indebted to him.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Wow.
So the Lord used the Rastafari. This is just mind-boggling. The Lord used the Rastafarians to actually teach you the truth about the Sabbath until you understood it. And you knew that this thing needs to be kept.
But the question was, why is there no church that does such? Because where I grew up, even today, the Seventh Day Adventist Church is not known. We later moved from Mbokota to Majosi, where I'm currently staying.
Yes.
And when we moved back from Springs, coming back home, I was now working in Los Richard. I was now a baptized member of the church. My wife was baptized. I'll tell you how my wife Just remind me how my wife became the member of the church.
Yeah.
So we will have our family devotions, and the kids around the place where we're staying will come and join us. And people will say, Kenneth has now started a church. Thomas has started a church. And then they will see me and my wife on Saturday getting into a taxi, going to Zweran SDA church in Venna.
Yes.
These people are going to church on Saturday. What's going on? The church is not known. It's not known. Even when you look now, at least we now have a church in Elim, Pen, Elim.
Okay.
But from there, the nearest one you are going to find is when you get to Bungen, you have to go to Mamaila, then you will find a church.
Yes.
But if you continue along the road, the next church from Elim you are going to find it is Kiani Church.
Wow.
That whole place, this church is not known. Yeah. So it was not a church that was known. It was when I heard the name Seventh Day Adventist in Springs, it was the first time at the age of 27.
And the strangeness, was removed because you had heard that this thing is true about the Sabbath.
Yes.
So when you got there, then the Sabbath school just captured you.
The Sabbath school just captured
you. And I know you love debating a lot.
Yeah.
So that part must have been the best thing. It was like a feast for you.
Yeah, even though at that early ages, I was still reserved, trying to figure out how do these people do things. Yeah. Because remember, I'm coming from a background where in church, everybody else sing and dance. The only person who speaks is the pastor, the preacher. And now here I am, everybody's speaking. And for days we'll even go without a pastor, but the church is running. Yeah. And let me bring the story of my wife grew up in the Presbyterian church.
Okay.
So when I start visiting the Seventh Day Adventist church, one, this guy is not a Christian. Two, he's visiting a church that worshipped on Saturday. Something is not right.
Yeah.
However, as time goes by, like I said, I became a permanent visitor, and I was then put into the Bible class.
Baptismal class.
Yeah,
yes.
I prefer the Bible class. When we say baptismal, we scare people. When they go there, they have to be baptized.
It's
baptism is a decision you make.
Yeah,
so I was in the Bible
I'm going to start using that one from now on. It's a Bible class.
Yeah.
It is indeed a Bible class.
I was in the Bible study class. So my wife started growing up. I was kind of naughty, but my naughtiness is not the naughty of every other boy. I just loved girls. That's But when you love girls, they say you are naughty. So that's why my naughtiness is. Every other thing else I did not do. So my wife then started noticing the change in my behavior and said, okay. My wife invited herself to church. Just said, tomorrow I'm going with you. I said, okay. No, we can go together. And then we went together.
So your wife is noticing a change that is happening in you.
In me.
And
she said, well,
you were married by then to her.
Not married, but we had our firstborn and we're staying together.
Okay.
We have done the cultural things.
Yeah, I understand the cultural ways.
Yeah. So we were staying together in that way.
So she has never heard anything about Adventism.
No.
But then she looks at what is happening to you. And she says, I want to go and see what's going on.
Yeah. Whatever is happening there, it has to be good.
Wow.
The behavior of this man is taking another direction. So we went there.
So what do you, okay, maybe let me probe it just a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you mean you loved girls? You mean when you're still with your wife, you would still have until your wife saw a change or
my,
what?
my wife, me and my wife, we started long ago. We have been together now for 33 years.
Okay.
So we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
And then there will be other girlfriends.
Oh.
Yeah. So when she became pregnant, the other girlfriends were taken out of the picture.
Oh.
But as they say, you can take Israel out of Egypt, but you can't take Egypt out of So this one,
yeah, I must say the change is scary. It's fine. The change is scary because the way I know you and what you're saying are like two opposites.
Yeah, people who have met me like you, who have met me being an Adventist already, hardly believe this story.
Yeah, it's like north and south.
Yeah,
literally.
So one December, I'm home. I had to fetch one of my uncles. He's a year younger than me, but an uncle is an uncle. So he was in prison. I go fetch him from Los Richard. So we are in the taxi, and there was this girl. So I asked for her number, and then we started chatting. We started calling each other, and then I'll visit her. But she was rejecting my proposal. To this day, my wife does not believe that girl. We never had a relationship. So one day the girl called, and my wife could hear that this conversation is with a woman. So after that, she asked me, "Who are you talking to?" So I said, "It's Kefas. Kefas is my cousin." Now, then my wife said to me, "But when you responded on the phone, why didn't you say, 'Hey, Zala?'" Because when Kefas calls me, I will say, "Hey, Zala." So that day I did not. So then I realized, I don't have a way out now. Because my wife knows how I communicate with my cousins. And she will tell this was not the one. And of course, men, when they are cheating, you'll just become angry instead of facing the reality.
The consequences of
But the truth of the matter is, yes, I was pursuing that girl, but we never had a relationship. She rejected me because she knew already. I told her that, look, I'm a father. I'm staying with my son's mother. We've done the traditional things, but yeah. So that girl had a difficulty getting into a relationship with such a man, So yeah, we never had a relationship, and here's the funny thing: one December, I'm home. I go and I'm going to check her, only to find that she was married. And that was the last time I heard from her that she's married.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the last time.
Wow.
To this day, my wife does not believe I never had a relationship with that girl. So now here I'm visiting this church, see the changes. She invited herself, and I said, "No, let's go." Like I said, we were renting a flat in town, so the church is a walking distance. So after church, I asked her, because we had lunch at church. Can't remember if that day we had lunch at church or the Kopana family invited us for lunch. So, but we did not go back to the flat. So we are now going back to the flat in the evening. And I asked her, how was church? Her response was, "I've never seen people who love each other."
Wow.
It was the first time my wife saw people eating together in church, and the way, the greeting after and her being a visitor, the people, how they welcomed her and all that. So,
Wow.
and yeah, even with her, the rest is history.
Wow.
I was baptized November 2009. No, 2003.
Yes.
Remember, I visited the church June 2002.
Oh, yes.
So November 2003, I was baptized. And April 2004, my wife was baptized. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how I became a Seventh Day Adventist.
That is very, very powerful. Wow. So there was no, you just loved the church?
I just love the Sabbath school. I think maybe part of it is because I'm a teacher, even though then I did not know I'm one. Because I mean, since 2006, almost every year, I'm part of the teachers of the Sabbath school lesson. I just love teaching. I just love, yeah. So then, of course, the environment allowed me. Here's the other thing: the churches I used to visit. When in church, I had to be somebody else. This church, which I'm a member of, I am who I am, even when I'm in church. I'm a trainer at work. The manner in which I behave, and I end up with some of these young guys I'm training, said, we want to visit your church. We want to see how you behave. And they said, what you see is what you're going to get. Whether I'm at church or wherever, I am me. Yeah. There's no wearing of one jacket when I go to church and wearing another when I'm home. This is what you see. I'm the full package. And that environment allows me to be that, to be myself.
Wow.
That's what I love. But other than that, it transformed my life. It transformed my life. I normally say this to my wife. We bought our first car in 2006. I was already a member of the church, not only a member of the church, I was a head deacon then. And I normally say to my wife, had this car came before I became a Christian, I don't think I will be living today.
Wow.
I don't think I will be living today. You remember now, when you've got a car, you are mobile, and you love girls, you can go anywhere and everywhere. So it was a blessing in disguise that the car came when I was now kind of grounded, being a Christian. I mean, I used to play lotto. I was crazy with things like lotto. I had a two choir where I would write all the different combination of lotto numbers.
It's like you're telling me about someone I've never met in my life.
I will try all combinations on a two choir. So the faith grounded me, and it made me to be the man I am today.
Wow.
It made me to be the man.
No, a remarkable man, I must say. You know, I don't know when I met you, probably around, was it not 2007?
Yeah, it could be 2007.
7, 8, somewhere there.
Teflop,
yeah.
Yeah, it's probably around 2007.
When did you come back to Polokwane?
I came back home 2005 January.
Okay.
And I was working in Lost Richard.
Okay.
And then 2006 February, I moved to Polokwane as an acting supervisor.
Okay.
And then I was appointed mid-March, but backdated to the 1st of March.
Okay.
And that's when then I permanently moved to Polokwane. So I've been in Polokwane since February 2006.
So by the time you moved to Polokwane, Wow, I thought you were like maybe 20 years in the church.
No, I was. You know, God prepares you. God prepares you. In the Bible class, this is one of the men who played a very critical role in my life. The man who grounded me in my faith, Elder Siband.
Okay.
This man was my teacher in the Bible class. He was an elder, and for some strange reason, you know, God will do things and you will see it in reverse. When he was not available to teach the class, he will leave the class with me. And I'm a student in the class. He leaves the class with me. So I will start now teaching the other students.
Wow.
And you know, normally when an elder is not there, we'll find a deacon or someone who was an elder before, even though they are not in office, to take care of the class.
Yes.
This man will leave the class with me.
Wow.
So I started teaching the class.
Wow.
So 2006, I started serving in the church for the first time.
Wow.
And I was a head deacon. I mean, a head elder.
Wow.
And we know in the absence of the pastor, the baptismal class or the Bible study class
Is yours.
is taken care of by the elder.
Yes.
So I was prepared for that class before I even know there's something called an elder.
Wow. Then when you discovered the truth in how did you feel? How did you feel about it?
For me, it was that which I've been searching for. Remember the idea of the Sabbath goes back to the time when I was 13 years, when my uncles were talking about this thing. So, and here I am at 27. That is from 13, that is 14 years
14
later.
years later.
The question I had is now answered. But not only answered, the environment also kind of accommodate me. Not only accommodate me, it transformed my life.
Wow.
So I was kind of liberated.
Wow.
And you know, like I said, I was coming from where I know it's pastors who preach. 2003 November, I'm baptized. 2004 April, I'm scheduled to preach for the very first time. And I was born in April. My marriage was registered in April. I started working in April. I started preaching in April. So things just happened in April.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was also an interesting thing when I had to preach for the first time.
Yeah.
Elder Spanda came to me. He said, when you need assistance during your preparation of your sermon, I am here for you.
Okay.
April looked, it was far. It was like, I mean, still January, April. But when April now drew closer, I became scared. I became nervous. You know, in that church, there were people who became members of the Seventh Day Adventist church when my mother was 3 years.
Wow.
And here I was now going to preach to them.
Wow.
we had a retired pastor.
Okay.
Yeah. Pastor
Okay.
Moy.
Okay.
And I was struggling, but for some reason, I could not go to Elder Svan. I don't know. But I'm struggling to put a sermon together. And my struggle had nothing to do with the Bible. My struggle was the audience. What am I going to tell these people? And then the light came. Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 1 to 6. Yeah. Where God says to Jeremiah, don't say you are young. Yeah. I'll tell you what to tell them. Then I realized, okay, I don't have to have a message. Yeah, God will tell me what to tell them. Then I went. And something happened. You know, I get it when they said the young need to be nurtured. We should not rush them. That day when I preached, there was an elder from Balfour. he did the offertory reading.
Mm-hmm.
Elder Svanda was the program director, and he also interpreted for me.
Mm-hmm.
So after the sermon, we are at the vestry, praying and go greet the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Elder Numalo says, we need young people who can preach in this manner. Then Elder Svanda said, it's even his first time. I'm telling you, the pride that was building up in this young man, that was me. I just preached my first and powerful sermon. And so when we go out now, the greeting, and they were emphasizing on how powerful the sermon was, cementing that. And that pride now found fertile soil. Yeah, it started germinating and building up. Then comes the second assignment. Mathye, you are preaching. I can't even remember what the day or the month was. Because I walked into the church without a sermon. Remember, I wanted to preach a more powerful sermon than the first one. And here I am walking into the church without a sermon. And the people who are observant will notice that in the church, I normally sit in the middle bench. That day, I was sitting in the front bench. I don't know why, but I was sitting in the front bench. I don't have a sermon. The elders don't know I don't have a sermon. All they know is I'm preaching. So as I'm sitting there during the Sabbath school, somebody said something. And boom, there was the sermon. But at that moment, I heard a voice, very small, still voice, saying, young man, you don't have sermon because you don't have people. From that day, I understood. When I finished preaching, remember now, I walked in without a sermon. So I don't even have notes. I went to the pulpit with only my Bible. And a sermon was delivered. And when the people were saying, Mathye, that was powerful, I was saying, glory to God. I understood that was not me. I was just a vessel, a tool that was used. Because me walked in there without even knowing how I'm going to greet the people, because I don't have anything to tell them. From that day on, till to this day, I don't struggle with preaching because I know I don't have a sermon. God provide. I went to Shekon 2006, and just before the service, the elders come, but the preacher is not here. At that moment, I was thinking, I've got a laptop in the car. In the laptop, there is a sermon. They said, no, I'll do it. When I get into the car, there's no laptop. I've already accepted the assignment. Okay?
Oh, man.
So I sat there, and then I prayed a short prayer.
So, what time did they tell you that you're going to?
Quarter to 11.
Wow.
So I sit in the car because I said to them, give me 5 minutes. Here I'm going into the car, log into the laptop, get the sermon notes, quickly write them down, and then I go. The laptop is not there. So I sit there, I pray. My farewell sermon that I preached on the 8th of January at Agape in Springs came as it was. Yeah. The story of Joseph. I even remember the sermon was titled, Whatever Seems Like the End of the Road is Only a Bend in the Road of Life, taken from one of the books of John Maxwell. And then I went and I preached. And that was cementing to me that I don't own a single sermon. All that I preach comes from God. God gives me sermons because God has got an audience.
Yeah, God has an audience. Yeah. It's not us who.
And this has been confirmed to me. In 2013, I preached the most difficult sermon I've ever preached. And it was not difficult because the message was not true. It was not difficult because it was not coming from the Bible. It was difficult because of what I knew. We were 3 elders now in Western Bank, 2013. We are 3 elders. So Brother Dominic Ndlovu, I think you know him.
Yes, I do.
He was the first elder or the head elder. And then myself and Elder Mboga.
Okay.
So in January, Western Bank, there is that culture, that January it will be the elders and the pastor preaching. And so Brother Ndlovu preached the first Sabbath. Elder Mboga preached the third Sabbath. I preached the third. Elder Mboga the second. I preached the third. Now, Elder Ndlovu asked us as elders to visit certain brethren to find out why they did not want to take office. Now, December of 2012, I visited Manamani Church. And during the Sabbath school, the teacher said something, and I noted it on my notebook. I used to carry a notebook to church before technology came.
Yes.
Carry a tablet.
Yes.
So I noted something on my notebook. December 27, I'm at Western Bank. Julius Chinoda was preaching. And out of his preaching, I got a sermon title. So I wrote it down on my notebook. January 2013, I woke up in the morning on Tuesday. We were visiting the first family. I go and write something on my notebook. The family we visited, their struggle was what I wrote on my notebook. Okay, fine. Thursday morning, I wake up. I go and write something on my notebook. The family we visited on Thursday, the struggle was what I wrote on my notebook.
Wow.
And now,
And
what I'm writing on my notebook,
wow.
These are notes for the sermon I'm going to preach.
Wow.
So now I visited 2 families. As an elder, their issues are the 2 issues I'm addressing on the sermon.
Wow.
I shared this with Ndlovu as my elder. I said, Elder, I'm struggling. I've got a sermon, but it addresses the things the 2 families told me as their elder. How then do I stand and preach about it? And he said to me, Mathye, don't be a John. And then I realized I will not get assisted here. I dropped the subject. Yeah. Then I told my wife. And she said, just change it. So I said to her, babe, you are missing something. I have to go back where I got this sermon and go and say, I cannot preach this sermon. I want another one.
I want new ones.
Hey, I want a new one. By Sunday, going to the Sabbath, I had told myself I'm abandoning that sermon. Wednesday morning, I was joking. And that sermon came. You see, when a television program finishes, then they show you the directors, the actors.
Yes.
I saw that sermon like that.
Wow.
And I said, look, I'm going to preach this sermon. It was very difficult because in the audience, there were those 2 families. They told me their issues during the past week. Here I'm standing now, and I'm talking about the same issues. But after the service, I'm standing at the door, folding my arms like this. One lady, she's late. She came to me and said, she greeted me, said, Elder, we don't talk much. We just greet. But today I want to thank you. The sermon you preached was addressing the 2 issues I was struggling with in 2012.
Wow.
And she said, this sermon was meant for me.
Wow.
And she was not a member of the 2 families that we visited.
Wow.
When she left, I looked up and I said, God, forgive me. I wanted to run away from your mission because of what I know.
Wow. One Pastor Mulupane.
Mm.
He once said something to me. He says, when he's preparing a sermon and then he goes to church to present it, even if he finds that the people that are there may not be comfortable with this sermon, he says, no, I preach it. Because it's maybe God brought them for that very specific thing that I'm trying to want to run away from.
Exactly.
And one time he had to do a sermon on, I think it was the mark of the beast. And then you know how delicate it can be.
Mm.
And then a Sunday pastor was there.
Mm.
And he didn't change it. Went ahead and preached it. And I was like, wow. So we think we are the ones who are in charge, actually. And basically, we are not, from what I'm learning from what you're saying, is that we are not in charge of anything.
We are not.
God is the one. So can you tell me that in your religious experience, this thing is real to you, this religion and God? And
it is very real to me. I've seen the problem. Maybe I can give just an example or two. 2006 December, I was sitting with my grandmother, and then she was telling me, grandmothers, she was 79 then, so she will tell you,
I know you've got
when I die.
I know you've got a very special relationship with your granny.
It's very special.
It's amazing.
I was brought up by granny.
I know that one there. You cannot take it away.
So now she's telling me what needs to be done when she dies. So I said to her, I'm not going to do all those things. Tell me something that I can do now for you when you're still living. And of course, she was angry. I'm not going to do what she wants when she dies. And she can't tell me what to do now. So then it came to me that come May the following year, this old woman will be 80. So I said to her, next year, April, we are doing a birthday party for me. And she said, now you want to invite people, then they will kill me. And I said, no, we're just going to be happy. And yeah. So that's how the party thing came. And I did not even have money when I said that. But I was completing 6 years in April. So where I work, when you complete 6 years, you are given certain service days. And with those days, you can take them either as leave or you sell them. So I sold those days. And then we had a party for my grandmother.
Wow.
Now, it was happening during the Easter weekend.
Okay.
We wanted it to be on a Sunday so that we can accommodate everybody.
Yes.
People can travel, and then the Monday is a whole day. So the Friday, the Good Friday, I was attending a wedding. So I went to my uncle on a Thursday, and we went to another village. It's called River Plant, next to Mbokota. So there was this old man who was going to sell us a bull, a cattle. So we said we give him the money. He said, no, don't give me the money. You will bring the money when you come to collect the animal. Okay, fine. Now, Friday, I'm going to a wedding. So I give the money to my uncle. Uncle goes there on Friday. The old man has sold the bull to other people. So my uncle calls me Friday night. Said, that old man has sold that bull, so we don't have one. I said to him, okay, no, it's fine. And he said, what do you mean it's fine? And I said, he sold it. So what can we do?
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's fine.
Wow.
So, and then he puts the phone down. I tell my wife, I said, look, we have got this situation. Let's pray about it. So we pray, then we go to sleep. My uncle calls me again. He said, there's someone who says we can go to there's another village called Shibuyuni. Yeah. He said, we can go there in the morning. And I said, I'm going to church tomorrow. He said, but you've got a car. We can quickly drive there in the morning and then you drive to church. And I said, no, I'm going to church tomorrow. And then it's okay, it's fine. And in the morning, wake up. I mean, I've prayed. I've left the problem with God. I don't have a solution to it. So God should provide a solution. So in the morning, we are driving to church with my wife.
And this thing is on Sunday?
Yeah, it's on Sunday. We're driving to church with my wife. For some strange reason, we used a different route than the one we normally use. So as we were passing in one home, I saw this bull. I said to my wife, that's our bull. And she said, how can you say that? You have not even... I said, but we'll talk to them when we come back from church. He said, you are crazy. Before we reached church, my uncle called me. And he said, no, we are sorted. We are fine. We are okay. So in the evening, we drove there from church. We did not go home. I found them at the gate. Now they are... They are crying. My uncle did not even greet me. He just asked me, which church do you go to? And I said, I'm a Seventh Day Adventist. And then that was it. Then I go to my grandmother. He said, you are crazy. I said, what did I do? She said, we did not sleep yesterday. I said, oh, no, I slept. Because we were thinking, when these people come here, what are they going to eat? No, I prayed and I slept. Went to sleep. So I've seen this thing work. I was involved in a car accident in 2013. When the people talk of the hand of God, my mind goes to that accident. Because I've got no other explanation of what happened there than to think and believe that God intervened. Okay. I was driving my friend's car. We are coming from a session at Sabbath. We are on the N3. So I see cars stopped in front of us. So I apply the brakes.
You're the one driving?
I'm the one driving.
Okay.
As I was about to stop, when I looked at the, I don't know what you call that.
The rearview mirror?
Yeah, the one in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw a car coming to us. And I said to my friend, you know him, Morel Scoban.
Yes.
I said, this car is going to hit us. Before I finished the sentence, the car hit. But here's something strange. Okay. Before the car hit us, remember, I've noticed it's going to hit us. I looked in front of us. There was a polo. There were 3 women sitting at the back. A Northwest registration.
Wow.
On my right, there's a blue BMW. So I turned the steering wheel. I don't want to go direct into that pole.
No.
I rather hit it on the corner.
Wow.
And when this guy hit us, I hit the pole on the corner.
Wow.
And then we went up in the air.
Wow.
I'm not sure if you were there then. You remember Knight Rider, that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, the flying car.
Yes.
I flew in the car. We are now in the air, and now the BMW has moved. So when we land now, we land on the third road. And we took a second flight. On the N3, you have got those concrete walls that separate the back inbound and outbound.
Yeah.
So our second flight, we are facing that wall. The car is in the air. I can't do anything. And it was like this. So Scobar is sitting here. If he did not have his seatbelt, he was going to fall on me. And he said to me, Kenny. And then that was it. But I understood. What he was saying was, my friend, we are gone. We are dead. We are facing a concrete wall with a car that is in the air. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
But for reasons that I don't know, hence I'm saying, to me, it's only the hand of God. Instead of the car hitting the wall, it went down. Yeah, straight down. We got out, no scratch. I only lost my eyeglasses.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
And within 2 minutes, the traffic officers were there. They said, please move this car before we have the fourth accident. Ours was the third. Because there was an accident, people stopped, somebody came, failed to stop, and then it was us. Somebody failed to stop. So they said, remove this car before we have the fourth one. And the car could not move. How we came out from that vehicle without a scratch, nothing.
Yeah.
I only lost my glasses.
It's only a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
And only God can do that. We were shocked. We are dead.
So basically what you're telling me is God to you is so real that almost in everything you do, you see him there.
I believe God is so real.
And
I believe that.
And your life was transformed by
my life was transformed. There's a friend of mine. We met when I was still doing my apprenticeship at Lanseria. His father was working for ESCOM, so that's how I came to meet him. He was saying the other day, he was showing his wife my pictures when I'm preaching or doing the motivational talks, and he said to his wife, I can't believe this is King. This guy is so shy. He can't talk to people. I can't believe it's him. My very own mother, the first day she saw me dancing, it was Christmas Eve. I was summoned to her office and she asked me, what did you drink? I was not the person who could stand up in front of people. And today, by God's grace, I do it with ease. Because I believe, I believe with my all that God created me to be a teacher. Hence today, I can stand the whole day talking and not get tired. But when I'm in the office by 11, I'm tired. When I'm sitting. So I believe the God of the Bible is real. And I've seen how believing in the Bible has transformed my life.
Oh, wow.
When I do talks, I normally tell people, I said, look, I don't have a girlfriend, not because I cannot find one if I was looking for one, but because the relationship I have with God and the relationship I have with my wife, I respect them so much that they don't allow me to have a girlfriend.
Wow.
That's how real this thing is.
Wow.
When growing up, at some point I had 4 girlfriends. But today, I don't think even if a woman can propose me, I will say yes.
You know the funny thing there? The funny thing is, yeah, I know God is good. To me, from my perspective, when I was like, when I would look at your posts on Facebook, I'm like, yeah, I thought you are one of those people who have never even, like, to a point where you've never even had something like a girlfriend, like it's something that is even possible. Like, to me, you look like those people who would, like it's not even the vocabulary. I just saw you, the way you love your wife and the way you the friendship you share is just so deep, so unique, that to a point where the person you're mentioning is, I don't even understand where to pitch her then. That's some terrible transformation. It's like you don't understand. Wow, that's amazing.
I will be forever indebted to my wife. She came into my life when I was unlovable. I was a crazy young man. The years after, let me say, the year 1994, I passed my standard 10, 1993. So 1994, I was literally at home doing nothing. except playing soccer and being with girls. And my life nearly got destroyed during that period. Yeah, there's one girl. Okay, I don't like this language, but let me use it to clarify this matter. The girl who's my wife today was the main chick. So there were also these side chicks. I don't like this word. So one of them started talking about our relationship. And remember, they know about my girlfriend. She's not supposed to know about them. So it was forbidden for her to talk about our relationship, and then she talked about it. So I went to school and I beat the hell out of her. So the teacher.
We thank God for this transformation. I tell you. We thank God. We thank God. I'm telling you.
So a teacher advised her to go and report me to the police. So she went to Waterfall police station, got out of the taxi at the gate of the police station for whatever reasons, decided to get back into the taxi and go back without reporting a case. I could be sitting here, or maybe not even sitting here. I could have been having an assault case, criminal case somewhere recorded. Yeah. But it never happened. Me surviving 1994, as I said, I look back into my life, and there are places where I see the hand of God, even though I did not know who God is back then. There are certain things that I said, but when I look back, now that I understand who God is, when I look back, I said, okay,
that was God then.
That was God. That was God. That was God.
Wow.
Yeah. Because when I look at those things, I still don't understand how they happen. And with me, the things that I don't understand and know how they happened, I say it's God. Because God can do things that I don't understand.
Yeah, because from what you're mentioning, hey, you could have been anywhere.
Yeah,
your life could have turned out into, I mean, the background did not allow that you should be where you are today. It's impossible.
It was. You see, when I now review, I realize that being in the hands of girls was some kind of comfort.
Okay.
Because these were the only people who will tell me they love me. Nobody else ever told me they love me. These were the only people who will hug me. Yeah, so being in their hands was some kind of comfort for a young man who doesn't know. And people to this day don't believe when I say when I was growing up, I did not know what I wanted to be. I did not know what I wanted to do. And after passing my standard 10, my mother wanted me to be a teacher. But, when you are a boy, here was my reasoning. I went to the Bombay and did not register. And my boyish reasoning is this. My current wife was my girlfriend at the high school where I was supposed to go and do practical. So my reasoning was, if I go back to that school where I've got a girlfriend, every other girl in class is a potential girlfriend. They are going to dismiss me from school. They're going to change. When they find that this teacher is having girlfriends in school. So I went to Bombay and I came back. I did not register.
We thank the Lord that he took you back by his own way. I really enjoy our conversation, and I want us to maybe continue this discussion because there are elements of your journey that I want us to touch. Primarily the work that you do, the work that you are currently even involved in, which I think is something we need to explore and look at it and the impact it's also having on the community. I enjoy the community work that you are doing, which I think we'll put it in our next session. and we'll have some time to discuss it.
We can do it.
No.
We can do it.
Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for coming. It was really an honor to have you with us. And yeah.
Thank you for affording me this opportunity. And yeah, to somebody who is going to watch this, listen to this, that's my life story. That's my journey. Christianity has transformed my life. It has changed the way I used to look at things. It has changed the way I look at relationships. By relationships, I mean relationships in general. We'll talk about that, like you're saying, when we talk about the work I do. Most of the people who are supporting and sustaining that are people that I work with. So I've learned that it's important to develop relationships. And I've learned that from the Bible. Learned that from the Bible. And of course, from the church, like I'm saying, when I met, I think I've said this once in one of my Facebook posts. When I met Mr. Kokwana, I was a stranger to him, but I don't think, no, he was a stranger to me, but I don't think I was a stranger to him. The manner in which he treated me, it's only now that I understand that it was the love of God that was working in him. And like I've said, I will be forever indebted to that man. And there's nothing I can give him. I've got nothing. But there's something that he said that keeps me going. He said, what he has done for me, and today I am able to reach people that he cannot reach, that to him it's enough.
Oh, yeah.
That to him it's enough.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So
it shows us that we need to get to a point where we realize that every opportunity we have, we must share with someone love that we have received, the opportunity that we have. Wow, it's amazing. No, it's amazing. It's amazing to see what God has done for you and how far He has taken you and how he has led you. It's a funny. This is funny. This is it's been very interesting. No, thank you very much, really. I appreciate the talk we've had. I wish we can have some more.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do that someday.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Impact, changing lives. Care to hit the like and subscribe button.